Trinidad and Tobago. Welcome to another edition of Scoreboard here on ACTN. Always a pleasure every Tuesday evening between the hours of 8 and 9 where we bring you something where we discuss sports in Trinidad and Tobago. I hope all is well outside there. Remember, we still have to follow all the COVID restrictions, and remember, you're 6 feet apart, and let's remember wash our hands, sanitize, and be safe, because, you know, I want all you, my supporters, to be here come a couple of years from now. Tonight we're going to be talking beach volleyball, and there's a story behind this interview, because I remember way back in 2006, two of the three guests on set, that's when I was doing a now started Scoreboard, they came from Toco to be on this program, and I always remember them for that, because to leave Toco and come to San Fernando and to do a program 8 o'clock in the night, and I understand they reach back Toco something like 3 a.m. in the morning, and I think that I really, really appreciate. I always remember them for that, you know, what they did on this program. But let me just introduce them today. We have Fabian Whitfield. Well, Fabian wasn't one of the guys who were here, you know, I understand he was, well, no, let me tell you what he was doing at that point in time. But he just missed the cut on that first occasion. Fabian, it's a pleasure, and welcome to Scoreboard.
Thanks, nice to be here.
We have one of the guys who was quite young at that time, so you might see him now with beard and tall and everything, but he was still at school. That was the Toco Composite School. That's Daniel Williams.
Yep.
Daniel, it's a pleasure.
It's a pleasure to be back here.
Right, I like how you say that. Well, yeah, good to be back here. And we have David Thomas, the coach, the national coach, and also you were the coach of these guys from since school days, and you were also here way back in 2006.
Good
Gentlemen,
to be back as well.
Welcome. You know, it's good to see you. You haven't aged a bit, but this one seems to get a little bit older. Gentlemen, we're going to be talking beach volleyball. Now, you all have basically toured the world so far, right? With the different tournaments and everything. And you all have been successful, right? Let's talk a bit about your career, when it started. I know it started from since in Toco Composite.
Yeah.
And David was your coach. And I must commend the combination, because from 2006 to now, and to have the same coach, I guess maybe that is why they are so successful now, because you have built a reputation, you know, with them. Let me start with you. How you got into the sport?
Well, again, it's due to David Thomas, our coach. He came up and he introduced the sport to the school. And, well, we were just young men in school, just playing around, having fun. I used to play football. I used to run, do track and field and so forth. And when he came, he introduced the sports, and was two of the things that he told us about. One, if we play the sport, we will make the national team.
He told you that from day one?
From day one,
yeah.
From day one. And the other, it have plenty ladies, right? So,
all right. I could see you're playing the sport with the intention of making the national team. I could see that one message. Yeah. But the ladies part.
No, we're young and we're in school, so.
The ladies are like sportsmen.
Yeah.
All right, okay.
So that was the encouragement.
Yeah. Wait, it happened?
Well, yeah.
That's where?
Yeah.
All right, okay. All right.
Yes. Nice. And, well, as we go along, we start playing. Well, players made the national team. I was more of a bench warmer at that time. We started.
That's why I didn't make this interview.
Yeah.
I didn't want to say that. I wanted to just
I was a bench warmer. Real bench warmer. Literally. I go on the court. I didn't make the mistake. Tweet. Fabian off. So that was just me. Yeah. But I had the will to make something.
Right.
I had a vision in me that someday I must be on this court, and he will never take me off. So I used to be trained mentally and and then after that, well, we continue playing. Players made the national team. I didn't get to make the national team. I trained with the national team first year, and then I got older, so I had to try to make the senior team. But before that time, he introduced beach volleyball to us, and there is where my love. Everything went to beach volleyball, because beach volleyball, I have a sense of freedom, a sense of love for it, where you just can't explain, right? And, well, I started playing with my brother. I played with another guy named Blake. I even played with David Thomas, and then after we joined with Daniel, because basically we meshed together. We had the same mindset. We had a goal. So we meshed and we decided to take it to the next level.
Right. So basically, two of you are the major peer for the national team.
Yes.
Right.
We would.
Well,
yes, as Fabian said, we started back in school. David Thomas introduced the sport of volleyball, I would say indoor volleyball firstly to us. I went on to making the national junior team. It was a number of us from Toko, 6 of us I believe, made the first national junior team, right, which was really nice. As Fabian said, Thomas did promise us making the national team and exposing to, so we would get that exposure. And that did definitely come true. So we moved on trying to make the national senior team. I didn't even make the national senior indoor team that point in time. So I went over to the beach, and as Fabian said, that is where the passion really came out. I think Thomas had a good foresight to see both of us being able to pair up together, because we didn't start together. We started with other players. I think 2 of us were the ones that really take it seriously and spent our nights and our mornings training, and that led us to where we were able to be the first in Trinidad to say bring home a medal on the international stage for beach volleyball. So the passion just build, and time again we keep going, and that's what led us to the point that we are at now. All right, we're trying to rebuild our partnership here now, and we have a goal that was set out from, I think it was like 2008, 2009, and we're still seeing that goal, still seeing the opportunity to reach that goal. So until we achieve that target, we will be pushing forward to that target.
Coach, when you started in Toko, what you saw in these 2 guys that really made you think that, okay, they're going to make the national team, but I could see it telling them they're making the national team, but the girls' part, was that a ploy to get them even more interested in the sport?
Well, as you know, people remember what they want to remember, right? I remember referring to the ladies, but it wasn't that you were going to get ladies. They referred to volleyball as a girls' sport. At that time.
Right.
So I was coaching the girls' team of the school, and they used to come and sweat before I reach. So this particular evening I came, and the hall was filled with fellas sweating volleyball. So when I blew the whistle for the ladies to train, everybody went and started to put on the shirt to go home. I said, come. I said, hear what? If you all train, you all will make the national team next year. Because I had previous knowledge as to what was going on in terms of preparation of a junior team for tournament, whatever. I said, so if you all come and train, you all will make the team next year. Right? And as you all see, it are girls. That's what I said.
So they misinterpret. Well, you see,
they choose what to activate them towards playing the sport. Right? So that was essentially the reason behind that statement. Right?
They were misquoted. They misquote you. Right. Yeah, but this partnership is really years in the making, right? Along that journey, tell me how it started. What are some of the little trials, the little, ups and the downs, and what made you all so connected that up to now that these guys are still with you?
Well, I'll go on a little sidebar before I answer your question directly. When we started to train, I identified certain players on the team. And at that age, I was able to tell them their role that they eventually evolved to. So I told Simon Blake he will be the next biggest thing in Trinidad in terms of outside hitters. There was a Colin Bernard. He will be the next biggest middle, and it's up to him as to how far he would reach. I told Daniel he will be big, and at that time I didn't tell Fabian anything.
Yeah. You didn't tell him you won't bench right away.
Right. Subsequent to that, we went to a tournament in Miaro. I carried the whole school team, and we went. And actually, that was the first time they played together.
Okay. That is normal volleyball, right?
No, that was beach volleyball.
Okay.
Right. I had played with Simon Blake or one of them, and we had a good showing. So they said, well, that's when Fabian decided he liked the beach volleyball more, and so on. And subsequent to that, they started to essentially follow me.
Okay.
Because I was kind of coaching the national athletes. They didn't have a national program per se. And I said, fellas, let you go down and, spar with these guys. And eventually I saw that, wait, these fellas younger, they have the drive. Right? And I think I could get them to do what is needed to reach that level.
Right.
I represented Trinidad in beach volleyball for years. And we didn't used to train. We would play indoor volleyball, train indoor volleyball.
And then go and play outside.
And then go and play beach. From that, I said, if somebody would train beach and play beach, they'll be unstoppable in the Caribbean, which eventually happened. So that was the basis. And these fellas were willing to do that. They had the time. I had the time. I gave them the time. So that's where the success came from. That willingness to put in the time. We used to train sometimes 6 days a week. Literally, so.
Twice a day. I said 6 days a week, twice a day.
Twice a day.
Twice.
That's a commitment there, because I don't think that there is much sports in Trinidad here where people train, twice a day, basically.
And actually
once a day.
that is a requirement.
Yeah.
But with our social makeup, that is not, or cultural, I should say, that is not facilitated. We still have athletes going to work and then training.
That is our problem in Trinidad, because sometimes we make a national team and we going to compete with people who live and breathe and stay on a court from morning till night. We coming home now after mixing concrete and going and train, and we still doing well, eh?
Yeah.
Right. So could you imagine if we have that full time? But gentlemen, let's talk a bit about you all dominated school volleyball, right? When was the first call up? This is a question for each of you all. When was the first call up to the national team, and what was that feeling like, and what the tournament was about?
Well, for me, I would say. Well, given the promise that we'd actually make the national team, to be honest, at first we didn't really believe that. But it was a chance to train under a national program. I mean, coming from a rural community, you don't get that opportunity much, right? So that was something that was really nice for me. Like to say, right, I could go home. My parents was very proud, they're training on a national team to say, right, my son. So making the team wasn't really necessarily the highlight.
Right, all right.
It was just the mere fact that after school, we coming down sometimes we come all the way down here to train. And that was nice to have that kind of feeling in the red, white, and black training colors. You understand?
So you didn't care if you make the national team?
At that point, I didn't really care. I think more that we play the game and we recognize that, we could compete with the fellas out here, because when we came out at first, we was watching everybody else, like these fellas have been playing for years. We just started the sport less than a year ago. So making the team wasn't really the option, and then if they recognize that, we are the same amount of talent as these guys. And we dedicating ourselves even more, because it was harder for us training was not in Toko or anything, so we would have to take a maxi after school and go down to, I think it was Pleasantville or Shogunas at the point in time, right? And this was...
So you're taking a maxi from Toko?
From Toko Secondary, from the school.
Yeah.
At school over, we in a maxi down the road and back up. So most of the times we reaching home about 12, 1 in the morning. We walk, and the maxi now, some of us had to walk home. So for me in particular, I had to walk about, when the maxi drop you off, you had to walk a mile home. You understand? And so you're really getting to it. You're really getting it. You're making that kind of sacrifice.
To hit school again.
Yeah, making that kind of sacrifice and want to waste it.
Yeah,
so definitely making the national team came up, a vision. And when you succeed and you get a taste, that was the first time I got to fly on a plane. That was like, what?
Imagine him only wanted
I mean, so that was real nice. I mean, plenty of people in my community never get that experience. So people started looking up to you, even as a young boy, right? This boy on the national team, and the younger ones started looking up to you, and you started to like that feeling, and you keep wanting to build yourself.
At least that give you time, that give you less time to be on the block on.
Yeah. So you didn't have time to do tripleness. Honestly, you didn't have time to do tripleness because when you're walking home, volleyball in your mind. You're playing. You had school in the morning, so you had to back again.
Yeah.
And that was our routine, and you didn't have time to do anything out of that.
Yeah. Mine's just a little different. It's the same thing, but you can say a little different. Well, my family is more, we grew up on a poor kind of family. So Thomas come with the idea of national team. I used to see people make a national team, right? The first time we tried out for it, I didn't make it. Because I was a bench warmer. And then the national team, so I say, I will try and make this national team. My brother made it. And I saw the love he got from the family, how everybody used to celebrate him and so forth. And I decided I must make this national team someday, somehow. The work I decided to put in to make this national team, and when I made it, I got the same love, not only from my family, from people outside of my family community. So it's like, it's a feeling that you can't explain. Even up to this day, people who you do not know come up to you and say, you're a national player, and there's a great feeling, people looking up to you, and you have to be a role model in the community and things. So it's really nice.
You see, that's the good part of rural communities, because see, in the city, everybody is a hero, but in a small community, a rural community, you find that people accept you more and they show you more appreciation. Gentlemen, we had to take our first break. When we come back now, I want to talk about the many travels that you all had, right? And I also want to talk to you, Coach. When you look at the standard of beach volleyball with your guys here in comparison. Welcome back, viewers. Welcome back to Scoreboard on ACTN. Gentlemen, it's the first time you went on a plane, but after that, it was like many other plane trips after. Take me to the journey, the team, and your many travels. What was like some of the competitions? I know you all brought home silverware. Tell us about that.
So the journey, to be honest, was rough. So I can't paint the picture of it being perfect.
Yeah.
Because unfortunately, support has been lacking over the years.
We know about that. We know about that.
But in terms of the feeling, in terms of being out there, I mean, I've seen the world, I would say. I've seen a large part of the world. I've been able to, get different feeling and like people and meet different people. And so that has been a real highlight for me. As I mentioned earlier, we are the first team to bring home a Norseca medal, even indoor or beach.
Okay.
So we're the first team. We did that the first time they had the tournament in Toko at Mission Bay. We won bronze at that tournament. We followed that up with...
That was a local tournament?
No, that was an international tournament held here in Trinidad. So that was the beginning for us. We went on to get silver, I think a couple more bronze. We have yet to win a gold at a Norseca, but hopefully this period of time here is the time that we're looking forward to that. We qualify for the World Championships we were the first team to qualify in the English-speaking Caribbean to qualify for World Championships in the sport of beach volleyball. All right, even before the ladies did it in indoor, we did it on beach. It's going back again. It's an exciting feeling to represent the country. I remember I could going off a little bit. It just come into my mind. Just to give you paint a picture of the feeling you just get. For World Championships, Fabian wasn't able to go to World Championships, but I was there. And seeing my flag, I was talking about it again, a little tearish. Seeing the flag flying on top of that stadium was the highlight of my sporting career. Knowing that, what I did was the reason that Trinidad and Tobago flag was flying on top of that stadium. I mean, when you watch up that stadium quite up and you're seeing, that was, I get emotional about it. But that was real nice, like, to know that feeling like I did this. And I mean, it's hard to explain, but it's just.
What about you? What about the highlight of your representing the country?
I believe I have two highlights concerning medals, and one of the highlights was our first medal, and that was locally. Me and Daniel, we played was a qualifier to represent the country. At that time, it had a team consist of Chris and Rivers. They were dominating. They were winning. They beating you day and night. But we went and we did our homework. We trained morning, noon, night. Anytime we had time, we trained. And that qualifier, we won that qualifier. I remember when we won that qualifier, I did a back flip. That is the first time I ever did a backflip in my life. And I landed on my legs, and I was shocked. When I was in the air, I was studying, what are you doing here? That is a joy. I basically had that. That was one of it. And the other one was we played an Olympic qualifier in Cayman Islands, and we won. And that was the first time I heard the national anthem play. And while I was on that podium, it was really the feeling you get just hearing your anthem play. You play your heart out and you won. You beat everybody and you win. It's like, yes, work is paying off. We're starting to achieve our goals and things. And so that is it.
Coach, I know when the program had just started, you say you don't like to hug the camera. These are the real stars. But I'll come back to you. When you look at these guys now, I mean, you played on the national team for how many years? Would you say that where these guys are today are way past where you all were, and that they have developed quicker or to a higher standard than you because your guys? Because what I'm getting at here is that, you remember you said you were playing volleyball indoor, practicing indoor, and playing outside, but these guys are strictly outside.
Yeah, well, it is a fact, right? And being one of the key persons who was there, I could attest to that. When I was playing, my partner and I, we never really trained together.
Okay.
I retired from indoor volleyball at an early age, right? I was under 25 when I retired from indoor volleyball. And I alone used to train on the beach. I will train beach volleyball by myself. And my partner, he will come and meet me and we will beat everyone, all right? I have my achievements that were first English speaking to go on a world tour and all these things, But I did, I learned to coach from since the age of 19. Right, I have my certificates and I always, I'm a teacher by profession.
Okay.
Physical education is my thing.
Yeah.
So that was kind of, I always like to educate. So my achievements was kind of my benchmark for anybody who come under my teaching. You must be better than me. And I'm playing against you as well, letting you know, hey, you have to be better than me. You know, that kind of thing. So what we would have achieved, the pioneers in beach volleyball in Trinidad, these guys way surpassed it. On Nausicaa, Trinidad will come for the highest ninth on any given tournament. And that is out of 12 teams.
Right. Yeah.
Right? These fellas maintained and improved. They started off coming ninth. And within a short period of time, because of the dedication of the players, they improved. And sooner or later, when they were last together, which was last 4 years or so, Trinidad and Tobago was ranked 3rd on the Nausicaa tour.
Okay.
USA, Canada, Trinidad and Tobago, Cuba, and the others after. And that is because of hard work, right? Sacrifices that would have been made by the players, by their parents. I don't want to say myself, that is understood.
Yeah.
Right? And that is what pushed them to do better than any other team would have done.
Okay.
Going forward, they have to do better than that, or anyone else should aim to do better than that. So any young player now, I will tell them, when you're going to play Nausicaa, which is kind of the highest level in this region, your aim is to be on the podium when you play. Anything less than that, we pass that stage. You understand? So that is the aim going forward. Right? Before the break, you asked a question about the level. The level is way lower than it's supposed to be at this point in time.
Okay.
Right?
Although they are 3rd behind the USA and Canada, right?
No, we were 3rd.
Oh, we were 3rd.
We were 3rd, yeah.
We were 3rd.
We're no longer.
Now I think we've gone to 7th or 6th or something.
Yeah.
Right? But a lot has to be done. Because now they are older, now they are not schoolboys, you know, they have dependents. So the challenge to train and
Yeah, mightn't be as...
it mightn't be as they would want to, but in reality, some sort of support will have to come into place.
Yes.
For that, for those sort of results to materialize. And I believe they have a plan to try to achieve that, you know, and I look forward to seeing what they have planned.
Well, maybe they could tell us and the viewers what's your plan, because you must have a goal out there, right? Because at what age you have to pull out a beach volleyball? What age? You can still play up to 30, 40?
They are some of the best players.
Yeah.
For one, say, Dahlhauser, I think he's in his late 40s now, and he's still playing and still dominating.
Right, so you all still have time, but what is the goal that you have outside there to accomplish?
Our goal from day one was to make it to the Olympics.
Okay.
We set that goal, and we work to that goal every day, and that is something that we still see possible. With a lot of support, but it is something possible. We still missing from the trophy cabinet the gold medal in Nausicaa. So that's the first one. Gold medal at Nausicaa, being the first team sport to qualify for an Olympics from Trinidad. And that is the two major goals, I would say, moving forward for us.
Well, that is our goal from day one. But to achieve it right now, I believe is that we're trying to get that, like, Right now we're trying to market ourselves, promote ourselves as the Toko Boys, because everyone knows us as the Toko Boys. So we're trying to promote ourselves as the Toko Boys and try to get the private sector on board, because depending on the government, or you could say depending on the federation for that support, we don't really get that the needed support to cross that hurdle. So we need some sort of extra intervention. So the private sector.
But how is that working out? Are you all...
Well, we basically now start. We now start. It's about say about a month now.
2 months.
But you all have like somebody marketing you all, or you all doing it all yourself?
And we are attempting to do it ourselves.
I mean, but would that take time out now from, or take a little focus out of your training schedule, where you know you're focused only on training, but now you remember tomorrow, I have to go by this hardware, because, you know?
We would honestly love it if people would come on board. If somebody in that field and who knows about marketing and knows about how, we would love for their support. So we plead into anybody who see us and want to be a part of something good, something positive in Trinidad. Definitely get in contact with us.
You all fall under the federation, right?
Yes, we do.
So they don't wouldn't market for you all, or, because I mean, it's not that you all not performing. You know, I mean, you all have the sport up there, you have the federation name up there, because it's volleyball. So I would think that if I am an organization here and I have people who making me look good, I will try to at least stick a little fire underneath there to make them me look even a little better.
To be honest, Daniel and myself, I believe, when we were playing, we were more focused on the volleyball.
Okay.
Right? So like knowing what they are doing, we will feel the effect when we need something, and we didn't get it, and then we ask why. Well, the federation don't really have money right now or something. So that is when we will feel that. So now we decide we have to achieve what we need to achieve. So we decide to take it in our own hands.
Okay.
So that's basically. But if we get help from outside, who know? Because we don't know. We're just trying to do it ourselves, because we need to do it. We need to start somewhere, and this is the start.
I think for years we have been dependent on the federation, solely on the federation for our promotion in terms of promoting us as players. That has not been working out for us. So with this, we consider this as a new cycle for us, right? Us coming back together to play is a new cycle for us, and we're looking for different ways. We're not just going to sit down and wait on the federation and do what we were doing before, because that could only achieve certain. We are going to, basically, if we do what we were doing before in the past, we are going to reach back to the top 3 in North Sector. But that is not going to push us over the hurdle and qualify for World Championship. Being in the World Tour, that is not going to do that for us. So we have seen that, and we are trying now. We don't have the support to say, I mean, we have the know-how to market ourselves and whatever. So we just launched our Instagram account, Toko Boys. So we're just trying something that, hopefully people in the community, people in Trinidad support us, and corporate Trinidad could see that and then decide to jump on board. So we're just looking for different avenues to push ourselves and promote ourselves and get to where we need to go.
Coach, you sit here and you hear this guy so passionate, what comes to mind, that, what would you like to see come forward, so then, your job and these guys' dreams could be a reality?
Yeah, well, as I mentioned, there are a lot of young athletes, upcoming athletes, who unfortunately don't have the mindset that some of the older guys would have had. We know that the word millennial is thrown about the place. Not many people really understand it. Youths today not going and put out any set of work for nothing. And once they see the support is not there, they will step back. Right? Now, part of the reason why these guys, I spoke to these guys to come on board, is people would just play in this sport to go on a vacation. I had gotten injured, and basically anybody was going to represent Trinidad and Tobago on these volleyball tours. And I had a problem with that. So I started this. And the thing is, without support, right, it will stop here. When these guys finish with their personal push, it will stop, because the younger athletes don't have that personal motivation, that intrinsic motivation to carry them forward, right? Some of these players played and excelled over the fact that their parents are saying, well, you're playing a girl sport. You understand? And they still overcame that and played to the best. So imagine a younger youth who looking for something because they putting out the effort and they ain't getting it, and then the parents saying, boy, forget that, you gotta do this. So if you want sport to move forward holistically, there must be that support, or else, as I said, it will stop right where the motivation stops.
Well, you know, that brings me to the question that I had in mind to ask, right? Because when I listened to Daniel here, and he spoke about, but I know we have to take a break, but when you come back, you could respond. When he said that after school, they would jump in a maxi and drive down to San Fernando, reach back home 1, 2 in the morning, right? Have to walk a mile home and then go to school. The youth of today, they will reach back home, but they ain't go to school in the morning. Yeah, so, and for that kind of dedication, right? When these guys' time come to retire, and if you still there, I see your job much harder now than when you had these guys. You'll respond after the break.
No.
Because we'll be right back after this short break.